Okay. Hello, hello, hello. First, I need an audio check. Can you hear me? Give me a yes or a no. Can you hear me talking? Blah, 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 blah. Somebody type in the chat if you can hear me. Hello, Oregon. Can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes or no? Put in the chat.
Hello, can everyone hear me? I think we're having some audio troubles tonight, so my apologies for that. Looks like I'm seeing some comments, people saying yes, they can hear you. Yes, Garrett, everybody can hear you. For some reason, I apparently cannot be the only one who cannot hear you.
Okay, that's not good. All right. So
you can hear me both. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Henry, Bradley. All right, Garrett, I cannot hear you. I don't know what is going on.
The biggest problem is they can't hear us, so I'm going to turn off my mic.
That is so weird. All right, hang on one second.
All right, we're going to try my microphone. Can you hear this way? Can you hear me now?
I got nothing. You guys are good. Well, Alpit would be great, but I can't hear Garrett, so that's a little bit of a problem on my end. Let's see.
Yeah, we do have a problem.
Hang on 1 second. I want to try something. Okay, hang on.
Okay, so it's funny that Kate can't hear me. I can hear her. You can hear her. That's pretty sign language. There we go, from Facebook user. Yeah, you know what? This is the life of doing social media, and sometimes that happens. So, Kate, no, you can hear me, but I can't hear you say something. Woohoo! Yeah, this way I like it. Okay. There's nothing like having crazy stuff happening. I can't hear you. Nope. I don't think anybody can hear you now. Let's okay, well, in the meantime,
I got it.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And everybody else can hear. So this is the fun, and this is why we usually log on 10 minutes beforehand to make sure we don't have audio issues.
Yes.
And
all right, can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I'm getting some people saying no. All right.
We're getting
Dale
celebration
says yes,
out
both.
there. Yeah.
Yay!
Steve said yay. Amy said nothing. Let's see.
All right, okay. I think we're good.
Yeah, all right. So, okay.
Awesome.
So,
I just had to unplug and replug back in.
Yep. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of Tommy and Oz and Jack, Jack in the shop.
And we got a lot of good people on tonight.
Charles,
welcome.
Yeah. Wow. 46 people attending at the moment. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's rock and roll after our nice little foobar going on there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do
it. All right. Okay. So, hello, everyone. I am Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and welcome to the 5th mentoring session with Kate, as I've been mentoring her and getting her CNC business off the ground in the right way that will drive much better success. And Kate has been very cordial to share this because she has the heart of a teacher. And so this is her way of helping as well. And it's been a interesting and interesting journey so far. You've shown some vulnerability, which is that we have to get there in order to make this stuff happen. What
Yes.
this what this is going to be about tonight is how to determine what projects to make and sell. And this if you've been on a few of these mentoring sessions, you're going to find that they are not direct answers, because building a successful business is not about just what can I make and what can I sell, right?
Right.
That's the what we call the shiny object syndrome. That's more focus on let's make this happen now, which we all do. Uh,
Yeah.
but in order to build a business, we have to build some foundations, and that's what we are doing here. So, going to say formal hellos to some people there. We got Bill, Bill Rowland, and said hi to a few already. Chris Nar, and we got Alps Patrick, my friend. He's been around since day one. Doug and Jack in the Shop, uh, and yeah. Uh, M. Jabbar Pring said, find a niche and serve the niche. Amen. Amen. You got it, man.
Yep.
And got another Steve there. Okay. So before we dive into what projects to make and how you determine that people want to buy, we're going to just do a quick rehash last week. But first, Kate, share your quick elevator speech for those who have joined for the first time and this, as everybody learns how to build a business. I will give my introduction though too. I'm Garrett Cromie with IDC Woodcraft, and as most know, I have been running a YouTube channel for a couple of years to teach CNC, and I teach business, and uh, the IDC Woodcraft CNC router business was born out of a problem that I saw in the CNC community, and it is one of the fastest growing CNC bit companies that serve in this industry. And that is because I have been mentored by those who have succeeded, and specifically one mentor that I put most of my attention, get most of my knowledge from, and that mentor is Dan Locke. You can find him on YouTube. Um, and um, so that's me. Kate, what's your elevator speech? Who are you?
Well, I'm
Crazy
Kate
hair.
Tucker. I own Rise and Shine Wood Signs. So I started out with a craft business several years ago. Was doing really well. I was making wood signs, and saw a need for something different other than just your average um, wooden sign that everyone and their mother had in their house, and hundreds of them. They're still extremely popular, but I thought I would up the ante and make carved signs, or do more of a three-dimensional sign, with the raised text that's incredibly popular now. But about 2 years ago, that was really just starting to come kind of into the market, people filling up that space. Plus, I also saw there weren't very many women in CNC, so I thought I'm going to be the one to knock down that barrier and go into a creative space with a CNC. I have a Onefinity Journeyman X50. I love it's actually, you can't see it, it's actually behind this wall. I've got a lot going on, and I had a laser project going, so I wanted to move to this side of the shop tonight, so you wouldn't hear all that. But anyway, that's kind of what I've got going on, and I've been at it for about a year and a half and loving it ever since. But I really wanted to take my business to the next level, so that's when I found Garrett as a mentor and also someone to buy all of my bits from, which has been so incredible because I've learned so much. So that's me.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Kate. All right. So let's start diving in. First of all, we're going to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about how to know what projects to make that people are going to buy.
Right.
And last week we talked about the avatar, and there's a reason we do that before we start diving into trying to figure out what to make for people, and that's
Right.
because we have to understand who we are selling to first. We have to narrow down. If we are just making things and we're just trying to sell them, we're not really focused on who would be buying our projects. And as I was telling Kate earlier on the phone, if we're not clear on what we do and who we serve, we
Mhm.
project out to potential customers a lack of clarity, or in other words, confusion. And
Mhm.
when we project out lack of clarity, we leave our customers with a sense of confusion or lack of clarity. And when they're not clear, they won't buy, right? So that's why we
Very
do
true.
this avatar work. Okay, so let's just rehash real quick on the avatar thing, Kate. Why don't you, in your own words, explain to those who are watching what an avatar is and why we do it, and the importance that you have discovered of doing this avatar stuff.
So the avatar is basically your ideal client. It can be combined with who you are as a person, who you're trying to sell to, or who you want to sell to. You need to understand their pain and their needs and their deeper psychology of why they would want to buy your specific product. So when I did mine, I wanted to relate to other women who are in the same, roughly the same age bracket that I am, that are in the same space of life that don't have, um, they're not needed as much in their life. And so they're trying to fulfill that. There's a void that they need to fill, and that's what we're trying to do. Um, so my avatar is basically working in the CNC space. She's trying to get started. She's trying to recreate something for her and for her family to take with her later on in life. So that way she's not just like left behind when her kids grow and when everybody leaves. And there's all these pains we're trying to understand. I'm not exactly sure what's going on over there, but we're just
Oh,
gonna
what?
you and your people. What are you doing?
Oh, I've got my notes here.
Anyway, so
Oh,
that's
my
what the
people? You
avatar.
mean my stick figure, like Dion,
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, what are you doing with that?
Dion made a comment earlier.
Oh,
When I
okay.
send out my packages, I'll draw the stick figures on them.
Oh, yes, yes, I've gotten many packages
So,
of stick
I
figures.
was hoping Dion would just kind of catch that. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that's really what the avatar is you're trying to understand your ideal client. And for me, that is someone that is very similar to me, as Garrett's avatar is very similar to him. But if you're looking to do something totally different, you know, I'm sure Garrett can mentor you and dig deeper into that. But that's, yeah, we're just trying to figure out the age, the targeting, what they do, their location, where they're hanging at, trying to figure out all of the different needs that they have so we as business owners can meet those needs. How's that?
Yep. Okay, good, good. And it goes into emotional needs. Um,
Yes.
so you mentioned something about me mentoring, and so what? Just on a side note, because I've been doing this with Kate, I've been getting quite a few emails of people asking about mentoring, and so I said, okay, I really want to see what the interest is out there. And so in the CNC Entrepreneurs Facebook group, I've pinned a post to the top that if you are interested to sign up for that, because I'm trying to see the interest. And if you
Mhm.
sign up, once you sign up, you'll be redirected to a survey that will give me a little bit more information why you want to, what is your desire behind it, what have you. So if you are interested in that, I have no program put together. I'm just gathering the interest right now. So,
Yeah.
um, okay, so the avatar work, yes. So what the avatar work does, it is the thing that helps you find your niche, right? So what Kate said, she wants to focus on women that she understands, right? That's the best avatar you can have, is the one you already emotionally understand inside, where you know your own pains and your own solutions.
Yeah.
And when you dive into this avatar stuff and you dive into the deep psychology of them, you actually get into your own psychology. and
Yeah.
and then you start to understand yourself. You start to understand your own pains at that deep level.
Yeah.
And the other thing I told Kate earlier was once you understand that, you can speak to that in a way that many people don't necessarily know. They feel uncomfortable. They want something. They want out of something, but they don't really think about it. They're just not happy. And
Right.
when you understand that psychology, you can literally talk to them and tell them their problem better than they can explain it. And when they can explain
Yeah.
that, or when you can do that, you position yourself not only as an authority, as someone but as someone who understands them, right?
Yeah.
And that gravitates them to you, and that's something that makes you stand out to your particular market. So
Yeah.
thanks for that explanation, Kate. And sorry I distracted you. Um,
No, you're fine.
it's
You're
okay. We
fine.
we might as well make some fun out of this at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. We're just
it
gonna have some fun.
sure is. It sure is. So let's see. Okay, so with that in mind, the reason we do the avatar work first is because now we can dissect their life and see what are they trying to express in their life? What do they want? People want to be validated, right? They want to
Yep.
be encouraged, right? They want to be celebrated. Those
Yep.
are the three mottos I have in my business, right? And we even talked about
Yep.
that, right?
We
And
did.
yep, yep. We have to honor that from a business owner's perspective. We have to get out of our own heads and get into the heads of the people we want to serve and sell to. Somebody said that earlier, that we need to serve our niche, right? People don't care about us. They don't care about you, your business, how much time you spent making something. They care about their own emotional desires, right? And we
Mhm.
have to get that into our heads that this is all about the customer. Business
Yeah.
is 100% about the customer, but the success of your businesses starts 100% in here and understanding that aspect, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part for
100%.
most. Yeah, that's the hard part for most of us to realize that and start to shake ourselves out of our own selves and
Yeah.
into our customer. So so this session is about how to determine what to make, because this is one of the most common questions we get. What should I make to sell?
Yeah.
There are a few ways you can approach this. Generally, as all the creators that are here, and one of the ways you can approach it is find a market that's just booming, right? That's why we mentioned flags and like if you're in the United States, American flags,
Yeah.
or some other thing that's hot, right? That has a lot of emotional value. Those who are in the services. I do apologize for anyone who's from here from international, because I don't know some of the more emotional drivers behind your nationality, but you may want to focus on something like that people are really passionate about as a large group.
Yeah.
In the
Well,
in
I
the
know in Canada, I see so many of those cribbage boards. I'm like, I just do not understand the significance behind that. But it must be a Canadian thing. It's like, being from Indiana, you're a Hoosier, and most people look at you like, what is a Hoosier?
uh,
So, I mean, it's just one of those things, but
but there you go. So you just nailed
it's
something,
significant.
right? People make cribbage boards, and the ones that make cribbage boards understand the game, right? I know the game, right? And it's
I don't know.
yeah. But once you start playing it, it's such a fun game, and
Yeah.
it's a fun game. It's like fun competition,
Yeah.
in kind of a way. It's friends sit with friends,
I
and
guess it's kind of like euchre here in Indiana. Like a lot of
yeah,
people have no idea what euchre is, but like even our best friends in Kentucky, they were like, "What is euchre? Like, how do you play that?" So we were sitting there teaching them, but we're like, "I guess it's like an Indiana thing. I don't know."
yeah.
But
When I never heard of it until I came to Indiana.
yeah, it's a fun game. You should look it up.
It is a fun game. There's so many renditions of it. So
Yeah.
okay, so the first thing, if you just don't know a niche, right? And you just want to get out there. You can make things that are very popular or trendy at the time. When you're coming around political election times, boy, politics is nothing but emotions, right?
Yeah,
And
100%.
understanding, yep, when you understand the political game, right, which is exactly what it is, um, it's all to drive emotions in one way or another. And so you can, but that's seasonal, right? 4 year seasonal.
Right. Yeah.
But
Right.
things like that. You can play with holiday stuff. The thing I don't like about holiday stuff is you make a batch and then you make a batch and you make a batch, but you need to have a source that's going to give you some kind of guarantee to sell that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Yep.
I've learned
Um,
that the hard way too.
yep. One of the other ways that almost every creator starts off, and so this is for everybody who's watching, use your social media. Make something for a woman, your wife, right? Or your girlfriend, or
Yeah.
just make something that a woman likes and get them to post it on Facebook, right? And 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 then
Hmm.
do it again and do it again, right? And you will start to get someone coming to ask you if you can make something. And this is
Yeah.
this is how a lot of businesses have started. Um, the thing with that is that kind of holds you back from zeroing in, right? Because now you're getting
Yeah,
caught up in the business.
absolutely.
And you did that, didn't you?
I did. I did. I had a lot of so when I got my CNC, I basically said I wanted just going to give myself 6 months um, to kind of figure it out, and I worked at it every day, weekends, most weekends included, even if it was 2 or 3 hours on on a Saturday and a Sunday. But I did get into that. I posted a lot of projects. I got, can you make this? Can you make that? Can you make this outdoor sign for, my pond? Can you, make this family name sign? And I really got into I was like, okay, well, I'll just be known as like the custom sign girl. But the problem I ran into is that's very inconsistent work, and it's just not. I'm getting into a territory where people are like, "Hey, can you do my logo? Hey, can you, take this picture of my dog and put it on here?" So then it was like laser and CNC. So I was really struggling to find, it's kind of like that jack of all trades, master of none approach
Hmm.
to my business. And so I was just everywhere. Um, but I will say, the one thing that's helped me a lot is I gained a lot of skill on the CNC, but like I said, that was my first 6 months. Now we're into a year and I'm really starting to redefine that. But I will tell you the one success that I did have was on my Instagram page. I have a bunch of like really crazy, like looking like little like fire dancer. They're weird looking skinny little things. But it's the Dave Matthews logo. And oh my gosh, I made one of those for a girl in North Carolina that found me on Instagram, and then she got me into a couple Dave Matthews groups, band groups, and holy smokes. If I made 5 of those things, I felt like I made 50 of those darn things. And they're epoxy and they were great, but man, just knowing, like when Garrett says to niche and to find your niche, like 100%, because those people in that group were like, "Hey, can you make me something to put my wristbands on? Hey, can you make these little bitty keychains?" And I was just like, man, I could have a whole business just based on like in these 2 groups. It was insane.
Hmm.
So if anybody's looking for a niche that wants to go help out the Dave Matthews Band people, they would gladly have you.
Yeah, well, this is
So,
so hopefully this is painting a picture for everyone that
yeah.
it me as an individual can't sit there and tell you, well, this is a great project, this is a great project, this is a great project to make, and it'll sell, because it's
Yeah.
not the project that's selling, it's who you're selling to, and
Mhm.
where are they hanging out at, that you want to be in that place where they're hanging out at. So you got into those Dave Matthews groups, and boom,
Yeah.
right? It, it,
Yeah.
it exploded. I remember those you're shooting me pictures of those things.
Yeah, they were
And
wild and they took about 4 days to make a piece, but man, the price tags on those, cuz
how much
I
were you selling
basically
them for?
uh I want to say they ranged. So I made like I think it was like 2.5, 3 feet. That was like 250, and that was with shipping included. Because it was like this big, like basically it was like arms out like this, and a little skinny body, and then like a bend in the knee. So it was really like an odd shaped thing to ship. So shipping was an issue. And then I sold 5 foot ones, I think for around 375, but it was a cutout of the fire dancer, and then it was hollowed out and filled with epoxy. And then I said, they were like, well, what colors can you do? I'm like, well, here's a color chart of all of my epoxy colors. And they were like, okay, I want this. And I'm like, great. Do you want it stained on the edges? Do you want it painted on the edges? How do you want it? And they were, um, you know, they were like, I want this, this, and that. And I said, okay, great. Here's the
Mm,
price. You can pay up front. And then I'll get it shipped out to you by X date. And that's what I did. But it was great. I mean, I had same success with flags. I did a Don't Tread on Me flag, and then I just did an American flag with an eagle carved in it, and I sold a bunch of those. So again, back to the niches. It's proven science. People like what they like, and it's not because you're the maker or, you know, I'm Joe Schmo down the street that has a great business. It's because I was making something that they wanted and they bought it.
yeah. So this is interesting about making things that people want. So you're finding a niche, and the thing to remember is the more emotion that's in that area, or the deeper you get into the person's psychology, their emotional
Yeah.
psychology, the better you can do. And interestingly, they're buying you, right? They're buying what you represent, but they don't care about you, but they're still buying you. This is why, if you can
Yeah.
speak their language, and speak their feelings, right? Then you
Hmm.
have just by default become someone they resonate with, and so you become a
Yeah.
friend. I've had people tell me they feel like I'm their best friends. I've never met them. I've got an email. I'll get on the
Well,
phone,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Because they spend they spend a lot of time on the YouTube videos that I create. So
Yeah.
so now we've said Facebook, right? Just make things for your wife, whatever, your daughter, your girlfriend, and
Yeah.
get them to post it, and you post it on your social media. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about the social media thing, because there's some people that don't like social media. And
Yeah.
yeah, the other thing is communities that you're involved with, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
a church community, you're involved in a church, and so
Yeah.
you've had business from church.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just did a big clock for um a lady at our church. I had actually have it sitting right over here. It's like a 3D cardinal with, their last name, and they want it all fancy. So, yeah, um church is great, but I don't advertise my work at church. So that's just not a place to really do that. But people ask me about it. I mean, they know. Um if we're just, shooting the bull or whatever, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, have you seen my, my latest project or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to see a picture." And I show it to them, and then they're like, "Oh, can you do this?" I know it's going to sound crazy. If you're not a member of any types of groups or thing like that, Lowe's, Home Depot, even Hobby Lobby. I know this is going to sound so desperate and ridiculous. When I was first starting out, and I was making signs, and I would wander through Hobby Lobby with some business cards like in my pocket, and they would be looking around at all these signs, and they're just, standing there kind of pondering like, I really want that one, but I really like that one, but I can't afford both. And I would be like, "Hey, you look kind of stumped. Are you looking for something specific?" And they're like, "Yeah, I want to combine this and that." And I was like, "Well, I'm actually a sign maker. I can probably help you out with that. Here's my business card, give me a call." And I mean, that's kind of how I started off my craft business, by poaching people from Hobby
Hmm.
Lobby. I mean, that sounds terrible, but that's where my people were hanging out. That's where they were. So that's where I
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Niches. Okay, so a Facebook user just made a comment that so they just got started. They live beside a lake campground. So cribbage boards are rainy day activities as well. Yes, absolutely. And camping address signs do wealth. Yes. So
Mhm.
there are some very avid campers who these people they'll
Oh
rent the
yeah.
campsite for the entire season, and
Oh
they
yeah.
spend their weekends there, right? So that becomes their second home. So they are going to want to bring their
Mhm.
expression that that is their place in some way, shape, or form. And the camper signs, they're the Smiths, but they usually have like a carving of a little camper next to it or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, New parents, custom item, personalization. Wedding market is huge. So this particular person just gave a whole bunch of avenues. The thing that you want to do is find that you're they aren't going to find you, and if you
Yeah.
don't know what to make, then you can always go out and just talk to people about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
if you need to, steal some pictures from somewhere, right? Just grab a couple of pictures or open up Facebook and say, these are the kind of things I can make, right? Just scan,
Yeah.
scroll through. And so what you want to do is spur their minds, because once
Yeah.
this is people aren't thinking about things until they get an idea.
Yeah.
So until something spurs them
Well,
to
you and
think.
I talked about this, on the phone earlier, and it was all about because I was where a lot of makers are. It's we want that instant gratification. What is that $1 million product that I can make right now that's going to bring revenue into my shop? And when we were chatting even earlier on in my mentoring, I was like, well, I can make these and I can make these and or I could just make a whole market out of this. And you were like, you are all over the place, girl. Like what is it that you want to do? And the more I've seen that, it's not just like one thing. It's not $1 million idea that everybody can make that's going to make you $1 million. Like the Facebook user said, you were talking about in our last session, like nursery signs and nursery personalized items. Like that's a very nichey subject, but like you said, you have to be in the mind of a new mom. What is a new mom going to want? Like, what are the new themes that are running rampant through the nurseries? Like for girls, florals are huge right now. Like these big, huge scroll saw signs that are, I mean, they're gorgeous. I mean, they're like stupid gorgeous. But that's not something like I would be thinking about being a nursery. Like I'm not right there. Like if you asked me what my teenage son wanted for his room, I could tell you like, you know, right off the top of my head because I have one. I have to understand their psychology and what they want. But um
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I do that for everyone who's listening, and Kate, you included, I mean, you're starting to zero in, right? And
mhm,
but this is a general habit of mine anyway. I've got this whiteboard over here where that's where I write down my goals. But I also write there on my board, and I'll write in my journal twice a day. Every day, twice a day I write my goals, and
that's
and
good.
it's yeah, it's what it does. It's not that I'm thinking about it, but my subconscious mind is working with that. If I keep putting in there where attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
And so for everyone who's listening, if you want to get into business and you're like at the beginning going, what do I make in the first place to sell? Then consciously ask yourself that question. Write it down. What uh, where what do I make? What do I make that's going to be a good selling item? What do I make? What market do I go after? What is a good niche to go after? Whatever. Ask the question that's on your mind at the time, and
Yeah.
what's gonna if you and you need to kind of rehash that question, right? This is inner work we're doing, and what that's
Yeah.
doing is you're going to start to get ideas, but it's also shifting your mind to how can I get it? How can I get it for me? How can I get this job? To how
Yeah.
to because that's the negative space, right? We need to get into what do I need to become? What are the ideas I need? What are the resources I need to start stirring what I got to get thinking on?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, so the reason I can't generally, I mean, so for Kate specifically, Kate will talk to you. We
Sure.
have defined a pretty clear avenue that she's going down, and that is because I believe you're starting to see that you have this teacher quality and this desire to help, right?
A
And
little bit.
yeah, yeah. She's still a maker. We're all still makers, right? I have had
Yeah.
to sacrifice the making to do what I do. So I don't make things nearly as much as I wish I could.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking about that
uh,
today too.
yeah, I'm serving a huge group of people. My
Yeah.
channel has had over 1 million views all the way around, right? It's so
It's crazy.
yeah, but it's taking time. Um, so you're in this space of you are uh, women who CNC. You want to help women who are maybe feel intimidated. They want to have a safe place to go. You've
Yeah.
defined an avatar now, this person who has that drive, that enthusiasm, but kind of lost themselves in life and their family. And so
Yeah.
you're the person who's going to crack that door open for them and do
I hope
that.
to be.
Just yeah, well, uh, you know their language now. You know their pain. You know what's holding them
Yeah.
back. As Tammy said last week, it's guilt, right? So
Mhm.
that's how you can speak to that guilt. You can say, you know what, still go after it. You know, it's okay. Um,
Yeah.
so with the Women Who CNC. So, for those who are listening, Kate has started a Facebook group called Women Who CNC, and it is for women. And it's there to help those who are they're buying a machine and it's sitting there in a corner and they're going, I don't know what to do with this thing.
Yeah, it can be intimidating. I mean, I think even there's probably some men here in the group tonight that would admit, when they first got it, they're like, "Ooh,
Mm,
this is maybe a bit off a little more than I can chew." But I think we've all been there. We've all had those doubts,
yep.
but you can't have a fear of success because you will just stay there.
Well, that's the thing.
So,
That's the thing with this. Okay, so we're going to shift gears for a minute. Is the fear of success? It's not so much that we have a fear of success. We have a fear of getting uncomfortable and going into a place that we don't understand.
oh,
But
yeah.
as I say over and over, what has us here, we want to get here, but what has us here is based on what we know and understand. And that's going to keep us where we're at until we expand that and get uncomfortable and start breaking some comfort zones.
Yeah.
And so I want to, on the project thing, as far as what to make, the one of the things, talk to either, if you don't know what to make and you're not comfortable making something you know already works, which like American flags, and then talk to a few people that are involved in something, and and if they're involved in
Yeah.
something, what do they want? And when I'm saying involved, they have a passion for it. I'm a Jeep owner, right? I'm a passion for Jeeps, right?
Yeah.
I will mortgage my house. I will go broke. I will abandon my daughter, but I won't let my Jeep go, right? I mean, that's the mentality of a Jeep owner, right? Um,
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here and just say a couple
yeah,
things. So I'm sure we've either got dads, moms, grandpa, grandma, Nini, whatever your name is out there. If you have a grandkid, an uncle, if you're an aunt, whoever, I will tell you what people will spend money on right now. If you're looking for something that you want to try and do, if you're a new CNCer for projects that are not too complicated, um, go to a kid's sporting activity. Go to baseball, soccer, gymnastics, go to a meet, um, and figure out what those kids are doing. Like my sister-in-law has been after me for so long to make these darn um, like trophy racks, and it just has a little carved arch, and it's where they can hang their bats from the season, and then they can hang all their little medals that they get. And I was like, that sounds like the most dull project on the planet. I would not want to make those. But that's me. Like, I have absolutely zero interest in making stuff like that. Like, that just does not check my creative boxes. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that love that love to batch projects out and just, and do that. But man, you find a baseball team and you maybe go talk to the coach. I'm telling you what, with my son's soccer team, I will drop some money on some gear that might have his name or, the logo or whatever it is. And sports parents will do that.
Yep.
So I think that's even a niche where people could get into, or batching out projects, but adding that personalization touch could really bring in some revenue for you.
So one of our friends, Bill Keys, he's in CNC Entrepreneurs. He's been in it for quite a while. He's in
Yeah.
Canada, and he's run a small CNC business out of his home, and he runs a professional sign CNC making business.
Okay, there you
There's
go.
two things he makes, right? He makes monograms, and
Oh yeah.
yep, and he makes exactly what you said. They're metal hangers, and all he does is I think he does it out of plywood, like half-inch plywood, so it's just completely flat,
Yep.
and it just has the little hooks on it, so they can hooks facing upwards. It's one flat piece,
Yeah, it's
and
insane.
yeah, and he has the name of the kid on it, and a figure
Mhm.
of whether it's hockey or baseball or something like that. It's all carved out flat, and he sells them quite a bit. It's so there's another
I
niche,
didn't
right?
even know that.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
another niche for you. The thing is, you got to get into the space where people see it. So
Yeah.
so if you've got a kid or grandkid that's in sports, make one for them, take it to the game and give it to them at the game as a gift. But
Yes, yes,
wait
yes, yes.
wait till the end of the game and show it to the other parents. This is what I'm giving my kid, my grandkid, that I made on
Yeah,
this
stand up against
CNC
the fence
machine.
with it, like, or lean it up against the fence, like, really casually. Do you have any idea how many times I have done that for cheer coaches, for soccer coaches, for baseball coaches, all the things that my kids are involved in? Oh my gosh. I made signs that said like Coach Amelia, and it had all the girls' names carved in it, and it had little pom poms on it. And I walked in and it was like wrapped up with a bow. Like I made it like a big sparkly bow, so like people couldn't like not look at it. And it's a big sign. I'm just like casually like walking in, holding it. I didn't wrap it because no, you want people to see what you did. And they're like, oh, well, what is that? And I'm like, oh, this is for the coaches, it's a big surprise, and then you carry it in and then you just casually sit it next to you on the bench. And, people are nosy. Okay. People are nosy. I'm just telling you from a woman, people are nosy and they will notice what you are doing. And they're like, oh, well, that's like custom. Where did you get that? You're like, oh, I made it. Oh, okay. But, oh, here's my card. If you're interested in having something made, just shoot me a message. Like, just keep it super casual. Don't be like, salesy with it. But yeah, I think exactly what Garrett said. Lean that baby up against the fence, hold it, like take some pictures with your grandkids, make sure like everybody sees it, because they're going to say, whether you hear about it directly, other parents or other grandparents are going to go to that kid's parents and say, who is that? I want one of those for my kid.
hmm And it's not just kids. You got the adult runners that are running every 5K
Oh,
marathon
yeah.
out there, right? So lots
Yeah.
of different angles you can go after. It's if you're panicking on trying to figure out what to make, rest your mind. This is why I say write
Yeah.
down what is a good market to get into and let it rest instead of trying to figure out. When we're chasing the answer, it's so hard to get. It's just like chasing money. You can never catch money, right? You gotta give the value, and money will come to you as a result. Let's Jack in the
Yeah.
shop is here, and talk about a niche. Okay, so Jack has uh, a plasma cutter. He converted his long mill CNC router into a plasma cutter. So it's probably the only long mill plasma cutter on the planet. But he is a lineman, right? Meaning he's been involved in those guys that tend to the electrical lines and hang the electrical
Yeah.
lines. And so he cuts out of one of his favorite, what I think is cool, is he'll buy one of those saws at the from shops, and he'll cut out these lineman profiles, and and
Oh,
and super cool, so nichey,
yeah.
right?
Very
And
nichey.
yeah, and I saw a post. He had his first sale on Etsy. Congratulations, Jack, for doing that. Let's check out some of
Branching
these
out.
comments here. There's a lot of
Yeah, I see that.
um, so
Uh,
so Um, as your growth requires change, and change is uncomfortable. Absolutely. That change is the thing that holds people back, that a fear of change. But change
yeah.
is inevitable. I was going to talk about this for those who don't really like social media. I don't want to do Facebook. I don't like Facebook. And I had to swallow the pill some time
Yeah.
ago from my mentor, just from the simple comment that somebody, not my mentor, somebody else, that we don't have a choice in technology, right? This is where people hang out at.
Yeah.
And the beauty in things like Facebook is now there's all these Facebook groups. So somebody
Yeah.
said the
You can
Legion.
meet
Now
some cool
this one said George said the Legion is a good uh,
Yeah.
source. Find a Facebook group, get in it, get involved in those things that you're involved in. Pilots. I've seen people
Yeah.
make some. There's a lot of people that actually make simulators with their CNC machines, flight simulators.
Oh, wow.
They build their own flight simulators, right? So you can
What
build
is
stuff for that.
that?
I had somebody email me today. For those of you who are uh, better at it, I had somebody, a CNC shop, ask me to design the project and prep it for their thing because they don't have time to do it, right?
Yeah,
So if
that's
you
pretty
get
cool.
good, if you get good enough, do that. So, but this is a great point. Change. We have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable, because if we don't, we won't get there. And every one of us are. For those who are brand new to CNC or stepping into this, going, "What the hell did I just get myself into?" Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, and it takes a little time. But
Yeah.
Kate, there's something for you.
You can talk to my wife and let her know that the CNC stuff isn't that bad. I keep trying to get her to help more after all the business is in her name.
Ah,
Nice. Yeah, no, I would be happy to talk to her. Tell her to go join my Facebook group over on well, it's on Facebook, Women Who CNC. Um,
yeah,
I think she would have a great time. I really do. It's once you get the hang of it, and especially since you're already there and you basically know what to do, teaching her would not be that difficult. I think a lot of people, and I can speak for both men and women, the software and the design is like 90% of the battle. It's not so much the machine. I mean, the machining is the machining, but it's the design software that a lot of people get hung up on, and they don't realize that there's so much to go into it. But she can come on over to our group and we can teach her in the women, the way women talk to one another, and the lingo that we use sometimes is just a little bit different. So
yeah, and
makes
that,
it a little easier to ask questions that like we feel are dumb. So, we've had a lot of that. We've had a lot of women here recently say, I think, thanks for creating this group, because sometimes I feel like I get made to feel less than in some of these other groups. And I'm like, well, you're welcome. That's kind of why I created this group, was to help women like your wife that may be intimidated, but it's a safe space
mhm.
for her to ask all the questions.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And just that will probably get her a little more excited. Oh, there's other women that do this, right? See, this is another
Yeah.
psychology thing. Uh, so it's uh, DLM Woodcraft, right? Here's another thing about psychology, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly she may feel left out, right? Oh, other women are doing it. oh, I can't be showing up. I don't know if you guys think like that, but
Yeah, sometimes it just depends on what it is.
um, so one of the things that would be kind of cool is for those of you who are watching to just list out if you have a business going, right? Make a comment about what got you into the specific line of work that you're in, like the
Hmm.
specific niche that you're in, if you're in one, or let's talk about some of the challenges in finding the projects so we can answer some of those questions.
Yeah.
This is an area that Kate is starting to understand, so I don't have to needle hard into this one with her. But she did have to learn that lesson over the first year, that you can't make things for everybody. It's too complicated, it's too complex, and you're
It
making
is.
too many left and right turns, and you can't zero in. Um,
And really, you're
so
doing yourself a disservice, to be completely honest. You're just not, uh, man, I don't know. You're just, I mean, you're learning and you're doing great things for you personally, and you're growing as a person and you're growing as a CNCer, but oh my gosh, it's exhausting because you're constantly um, making new designs. They're not designs that you're going to be able to reuse or resell because it's someone's personal, family name or family crest or whatever, but it just gets, unless that's really what you want to do is just go all custom, but you just have to be prepared for the highs and the lows and the super busy and very demanding people that like aren't going to respond or they're not going to pay their invoices, and you're sending out quotes and you put all this work and effort into it and then they're just like ghost you. So it can be very challenging is what I ran into.
yeah, one of the other things is when if you take on a custom job, always get a deposit. So there's a comment
Yeah.
here. I'm not going to bring it up, but they said they can't
Okay.
can't do Facebook because of some restrictions that they have, and it makes sense. Um, so so if there are limitations, right, there are other avenues. The thing like craft
Right.
shows, I wouldn't necessarily lean on craft shows unless you just find them fun, right? Or you just want a little extra pocket change. I mean, they're kind of cool, but in a way, you are uh, unless the shows are you understand the clients that are going there, right? There's one of the things
Yeah.
with craft fair, sometimes you're this goes to demographics of sometimes you're in an area where people just aren't willing to spend the money, and it's just not that they're more the Walmart class, the Walmart
Yeah.
spenders, as opposed to the Kroger spenders, or the what's the name of that other place, the
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of clientele you want to jump into. But just getting started, you can pop into stuff. But this comes into the pricing thing too, right? You,
Yeah.
when you're finding a project to make, and you say, okay, I want to work on these. The When we hesitate on our pricing, and in our mind we start to draw the price down because we don't think it's worth that much, that has nothing to
Hmm.
do with the price. It has to do with our own self-esteem and our own
Yeah.
self-worth, right? So we have to get uncomfortable and bring our prices up to what we know it's worth. And if we don't, then that's where you got to ask some guidance. Um, One of the things, Kate, I'm going to step into a little bit of an area here. You said you're doing this stuff, but you're not, because you're redirecting. There's this revenue issue, right? And you're
Right.
like, how do I bring in income? So there are ways. You have built up a skill, and
I
your
have.
skill is now you understand a lot about CNC, how to work the vectoric software,
Yeah.
prep work, how to run the machine and set it up, how to do finish work. You can sell that skill, right?
Yes.
And if you want to generate revenue, then it's time to set up something to start selling that skill. Set yourself up on
Yeah.
one-on-ones, right? And
Yeah.
so
We talked about that.
yep. And so what we're going to do is make you available to people for a fee, right? Because you have a skill, and this is
I do.
uncomfortable. Right? It's uncomfortable
It
to
is
say,
very,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, I'm going to charge for something I know because I'm such a giving person. But the way we need to look at this is we have people who have a desire to get from point A to point B and they're struggling, right? And so that's causing
Yeah,
more pain for them and
it
discomfort.
does.
And they get to the point where they want to take that laptop and throw it out the window, right? We've all been down that road. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
and so
unfortunately.
what you should do is make yourself available to women who CNC.
Yeah,
Talk about
I
niche.
definitely have. I've thought about it. Yeah, I have thought about it. We've talked about this. I have a hard time wanting to charge, just because man, I know what it was like to just be on the dang struggle bus for so long because I had one friend. He's actually a family member, like a cousin of a cousin who's married to a cousin. Um, but they live like 2.5 hours away, and they came down for, a Christmas party or whatever after I got my CNC, and I had like 5,000 questions. And he tried to help me as much as he could, but he still was like, I haven't done this as long as like probably you think I have. Like I just have a little bit of experience. I have a very small CNC, and here's this like, giant machine. And like he was still working on, I think like a very, very old version of Vectric, and I had Vectric Pro and all these, because like I said, when I went all in, I went all in. But I've been working at it every single day for like I will spend 6 to 8 hours out here every single day. So this is my full-time gig. This is my business. Um, so I guess now that I'm sitting here processing, talking things through, it would make sense because that's part of my business model is to teach. And if you want, you may have to pay for that. It's kind of like what I did with you when you were doing your one-on-ones. I paid for your one-on-ones because I
Mhm.
was like, I just want somebody that can answer these questions where I don't have to go through 8 million YouTube videos and get bad advice and then come out here and spend 6 hours
Exactly.
trying it and then going, what? That person is a complete knucklehead. Why did I even just waste my time? I'm just going to
Yeah.
go pay for a one-on-one with Garrett and ask all the questions and be done. And I
Hmm.
did. And I went like light years forward.
Right. And uh, you were willing to pay me, so people are going to be willing to pay you. And it's a matter of understanding that people are buying speed. You are helping them get there a hell of a lot faster, right?
Well, I mean, you did for me because I could
Hmm.
not figure out for the life of me that damn V carve, or not V curve, but flat depth and just depth. Like it was, I mean, it was so simple. But when you explained it to me, I was like, that's all it is. That's all I have to do. And you were like, yeah, that's it. And I probably, before you, I probably tried to watch, probably watched 8 videos trying to figure it out. And they're telling me all the technical terms of this and that. And it's going in and multiply times 8.25 and divide by 60 million. And I'm like, what?
Right. Yeah. So
You know,
set up a thing where you can help people. It doesn't have to just be women, because there's plenty of guys out there that are new to this, and so Kate is going to be making herself available, and it's going to be for a fee because she has a skill now, and that skill is valuable, right? We value as a business owner, you have to value your time, and
I've been
that's
terrible about that.
called that's called self-respect. And there's one thing in business, and they say it's we all have to pay the price, and that price is you paid the price for a year, right? In a way, that price
Yeah.
is beating your head against the wall, um, until you realize I don't know what I don't know. I've got to go somewhere. Someone's got to show me how. That's when you become willing. All right. And so in all
Yeah.
business, right, that's this mentoring for all who's watching, right? We have to be open and receptive and think about what's being taught here. 4 years ago, I knew nothing of what I'm sharing. right? But it's learning from my mentor, and it's rinse and repeat, pounding it in my head until I got
Yeah.
it, right? And I even I'm at a glass ceiling again, so I have to go back and I went to my mentor today and asked him a few questions and told him I'm at a glass ceiling. I don't know why. And what he told me, he said, Garrett, what you told me is fear of success, right? And I've got a successful business here.
Ah,
IDC Woodcraft
yeah, you do.
is rocking it out, right? And but
Hmm.
I want it to grow even more. We all have dreams, right? And this is my dream because in life, for especially for us who have been in retire, going to retirement, right? There's this
Sure.
part in us. This is another thing about my avatar, right? Is we don't want to go out with regrets, and we're starting to see that our clock is ticking, and at a very deep level, there's that sense of, am I going to regret things, right? Especially if we have we got that burning thing inside and we just haven't let it out, right? And
Yeah.
so I just want to rock it, but I can't do it for me to have a successful company. It's to who can I serve? Who can I serve the best? How can I serve to help everybody grow, you and everybody who's watching? Um,
Yeah. Well, I can say I have a lot of, I won't say it's fear of success. I have fear of failure. And I think that's what keeps me going so
mm,
hardcore because I don't want to be, I guess, to my friends and my family, and this probably goes to some deeper psychology, but I don't want them to be like, oh, well, she had like just a little, woodworking business or a little hobby. Like, I don't want to be known as that. I want to be known as, you know, Kate. She was a force to be reckoned with. She built a business from the ground up and she did it the right way, finding out who my ideal customer was, looking for a niche, trying to build a business that would not only light a fire under my ass to help other women, but also and men to build a successful business because that's what I want for myself more than
mm,
anything on this entire planet. Like, I want to be wildly successful, but
right. And that's
it's
a
like,
good attitude to have, right? But
yeah,
your fear of failure is you don't want to have a regret of fail. It's a regret ultimately. Okay, so back to CNC projects. All right.
yes,
I'm going to bring this one up because this touches on a point that I want to bring up that a lot of people ask about. So, Greg, he has two niches. Both are doing okay: Harry Potter plaques and memory plaques of pets who have passed away. Okay, what a great niche, right?
yeah, I was gonna say
Pet,
that's pretty. Those
pet,
are like totally different.
yeah, pets are a huge niche, right? Babies, pets, pets is a multi billion-dollar industry, and people are super passionate about their pets, especially single women. To my knowledge, they embrace their pets, right? I know men
Yeah.
are like that too, but for some reason I seem to see that women are very much pet,
Oh
that
yeah.
that's their social connection, right?
It's so funny
With
that you actually clicked on this because that's what I have on my CNC bed. It's a memorial like plaque of a pet. The
mhm,
picture is a laser etched of their pet, and then there's a saying next to it that's carved. So
right,
yeah,
where do you find these? So, but one of the things I want to touch on here that we hear a lot is about trademark. Okay, and so I'm
yes,
going to share with everyone what I have learned about trademark projects is you if you're going to do it, you want to keep it very low key. Uh, uh, in the groups, we're always making, a bunch of people are making their stuff, right? They're making the
right.
Star Wars stuff, right?
Hmm.
Technically, if you're making it for yourself, nobody can stop you. If you start marketing, you want to be
Be
very
careful.
aware of the trademark rights. If you make a Disney thing and you get it out there, Disney is a they're like the meanest company on the planet.
They will
They will
come for you.
chase you down. They will chase you down. Right?
Yes, they
It
will.
gives me a whole different perspective on Mickey Mouse. I tell you what. Um, and Harley, I had a
Yeah.
cheap thing up on Etsy, and that Etsy told me I had to take it down. Right? It
Yeah.
was, uh, but I've got another Jeep thing on there that because it's my own thing. It's some hard top lift. It's instructions to take the hard top off your Jeep, right?
Oh,
So
geez.
then so that they can't, they're not making me take that
Can't
one
tell
down.
you to do that.
But trademark, there are some angles. Now, I'm going to disclaim this. I am not a trademark attorney. So take my words with a grain of salt, and don't go in any way as he said, because I'm telling you right now, I am not the authority here. I'm just telling you what I have learned. So the big names, John Deere and Ford and Disney, Harley Davidson, if if you're up on Etsy, they are watching, they're looking for you. Okay, they're looking for it and they will have it pulled down. We think
Hmm.
on the consumer end, hey, I'm sitting here toting your product. I love it. And this is why I'm selling it. They are protecting their identity. They will market the way they want to market, right? But you can always contact them and ask them. Some companies
Hmm.
do give you a letter of authorization. So
Yeah.
so so do that, but especially if it's a big name. Now there are, what I have learned is you can alter things enough that that it falls out of the trademark. You can alter colors, you can alter shapes, and that will start to skew out of the trademark thing, but it doesn't mean they still won't come to you. There's a CNC brother, I think he's here. He was doing something on Etsy, and it was related to Harry Potter, and he got shut down. Literally, Etsy shut him down. They didn't pay him the money that he had made off those products, and
Mm.
so he had to start over again. So
Ugh.
and so always please be careful when you're going in that direction, um,
Yeah.
and try to understand get the authorization first,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
if not, talk to a trademark attorney. Okay, so let's pop into another one. Here's another one.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, Aaron.
Got her little baby.
Yeah,
Goodness.
climbing toys and beds. Started because that's the stage of life we're in right now, and these kids, 5 and under, so it's really easy for us to talk about. Right, so she
Absolutely.
understands we still mostly local customers, right? Facebook groups, and now word of mouth, right? So Erin got herself into a niche because she understands the niche, right? She solved her own
Yes.
problem, right? Is what I'm gathering from this, and
Yeah. She's right there.
yep, and she got it, and because of that, she probably blabbed it to her friends, and her friends are going, and her friends, who are her friends? Moms of young
Other
kids,
moms.
right? Yep.
Yep.
And so think of this. This is a beautiful example of finding products to create. Thank you,
Hmm.
Aaron, for sharing that.
Yes. And girl, if you're not in the
Um,
group, go get in the group. Women who
yeah,
CNC.
women who CNC. If you're not in CNC entrepreneurs, sign up for that one too. But if you're a
It's a
woman,
good one.
definitely get into Kate's group. And I'll just say again, if you're interested in the mentoring, um, at the top of the CNC Entrepreneurs Facebook group, there's a post where you can sign up to that. Please fill out the survey. You'll be redirected to. This is not saying I have started it. I simply just talked to my mentor about it because I am seeing an interest, and it's an
Yeah.
early bird gets the worm on this one, right? So that's the way we're going. Let's see.
Oh, hang on. If you go back up two more,
Aaron's or
it says no,
Azure
um, M Ajor Pring.
timestamp.
So what would that be, a separation of design fee and machining fee? Is that something maybe they're having a private conversation? I'm not sure. Or maybe he's referring to, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, bud. Maybe
There
if
has
you're
been a
suck.
couple of conversations going on the side here,
Okay.
like me and crazy hair. Let's see.
Uh,
Okay. Let's
let's
see.
see.
Oh, I gotta pull up the
Well, I'll go
comment.
ahead to Matt's comment then.
Matt at what, 8:56?
Yes.
I actually just popped it up there, mostly custom work. So I've been teaching. I want to find a question that people are having that are being challenged at the moment. Do mostly custom work and desktop novelty items. So he's been teaching CNC and Vectric for years, right? So dove in and started his own biz a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, so one of the other things to consider is when getting into a business is what's the level you want to get at. Do you want to just are you just looking for pocket change? Do you want to actually make a decent buck where you can go you know have a weekend out with your significant other and spend $500 on a nice weekend, or are you looking
Yeah.
for something to replace your income, or you're looking to
Yeah.
kill it, right? Like
Crush
you
it.
said, just like me, I want to crush it. I want IDC to be the number one most recognized brand in the home CNC router space, right? And
Yeah.
to beyond in the entire home CNC space, which is stuff I've got
Yeah.
going on the back end, which is a tough one. That's where I'm stuck at. That's where I'm going with my mentor. So um, Jack just got a message on Facebook. Someone wants to trade him 10 handsaws for one that he's cut out.
Oh,
so,
geez.
so he can create one that he cut out and get 10 more that he can cut out. Kind of
Oh my
cool. All
gosh.
right, so I'm gonna see if there's some questions. Okay, here's one. Um, from V Twin. Okay, he's a bit of a perfectionist with OCD and always thinks your stuff could be better, and it isn't worth charging for. Okay. Oh, such a great one. Okay.
Present.
We, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's we are our own worst critics, right? We see every defect in our projects,
Yep.
and I want you to think about as a customer. This is getting back into the mind of the customer and knowing your avatar. When you're making something that's meaningful for them, they don't really care about the imperfections, right? It's the whole
Yeah.
essence of the entire project. That this plaque I made for myself, right? Um, that's got a ton of imperfections in it, but I don't see it anymore. I only saw it when I made it. Now I see this big plaque that says I'm Dragon of the Year, right? And I see it every
Yep.
day. And so it's the meaning behind it. So people will forget about that. So uh, in business, Kate, this is a lesson for you, right? Uh, Perfection is the root of procrastination, and we just have to
Perfect.
start, right? And procrastination is self-sabotage.
Perfection is the
It's the root of procrastination,
root of procrastination.
right? Or it's the other way around, maybe. Um,
I don't have to look it up.
yeah. But procrastination is self-sabotage. Perfectionism, I'm sorry, be twin, but a lot of us have this. It's also
Yeah.
self-sabotage, especially when we're trying to do a business. We have to jump in, often put the cart before the horse when we figure it out along the way, right? And
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, sir, I have, well, wrong way. You see this bear right over here on the wall? This big bear? It's
mm,
epoxy filled. It has 9 million mistakes on it. Okay, 9 million. I can't even tell you. And I backfilled it with epoxy to try and cover all the mistakes. And then I was going to sell it, and I was like, God, this looks terrible. Back in October, last October, I went to the Pinners Conference. I took that thing just because I wanted to show what I was capable, but I put it in the far left corner, okay, like where I didn't think like many people would look. It was kind of like tucked in back behind my booth. I had more people stop and ask me about that bear and if I could make that bear look like that than any other piece. I probably had 50 other pieces in my booth that I was so proud of, and they all were like, "Oh my God, look how that's so beautiful." And I was just like, I would have never in 100 years thought that that would have been something that somebody would have really liked, but people don't see what we see. They just don't see it. So,
Yeah, exactly. This is another thing. We need to see from the eyes of the customer
yeah.
and understand that again, it's getting into the customer's mind. What are they looking for? They're looking for feelings. They're looking for expression. They're looking for validation. Um, think about this. Everyone who's here is you're on a Facebook group and you got your machine right, and it's sitting in a box, and you take a picture of it and you post on Facebook. It finally arrived, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're showing me a picture of a box, right? But as a creator, I get the excitement,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
totally.
and then you're showing pictures of everything laid out, and all these pieces laying everywhere. You're sharing your journey because you want people to be part of your journey. And where are you doing that? You're doing it with a community that understands you and gets you, right?
Yeah.
And
But not
and then
only
you're
your community, you're also getting all of your other social media people because people want to see the process. They are like so invested in the process. I mean, think about people who watch those like house renovation shows. You want to see it from, the very beginning emotional, like, oh, they're first married and they're getting ready, and they're pregnant and they're getting ready to have their first baby and they have their first house, but then they buy this thing and they have to like demolish it and start over. Like, there is something that we like in our psychology that we get so emotionally invested in that. But people love that
Mhm,
stuff. People have always like, "Oh man, I love seeing your stuff." People never comment, but they always, every time they see me, they're like, "Oh man, I see your stuff. Like, I really like your stuff." People are always
mhm,
watching. So just do you, just be authentic.
yeah, yeah. The reason I was sharing that was because if we can see in ourselves how we are behaving and our own sense of what we find important, right? Once we got the CNC built and it's been running for a while, the excitement of the box is, oh, okay, somebody else finally got on board, right? I mean, it's still cool to see it, right? But it's
Yeah.
the we
Yeah.
we're past the excitement. Now we're like, okay, now damn it, I just broke a bit, when I've been running it 15 times, and what did I do wrong, right? So kind of thing. Get back into that time that you understand. If you can remember those feelings as you understand your avatar, then and you can get into empathy with it, then
Yeah.
you've got a gold mine. You've got a gold mine because now you can talk to it. Let's find some other. Uh,
Let's see, Facebook user, Kate, do you use a long mill? No, I do not. I actually have a Onefinity X50. Um, I had thought about purchasing another CNC, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to do that just yet.
okay, there's one. Is there a market for trucking awards in the trucking industry, or and any tutorials on how to make them on a CNC? So tutorials on trucking awards is going to be pretty hard to find, but maybe tutorials on awards. But this brings up another interesting point, because as we were talking today, um, the the corporations make custom things for their employees who are retiring or for other events, and especially when they're become high-end events or something like that. You can if you can get in with a corporation,
Yeah.
if you know somebody that's in a decision-making role in some kind of company that caters to their people in a way of recognition one way or another, you may be able to do something like that. Sports awards for like the little league teams or the high school
Yeah.
teams. I've seen many things like that, or alternative awards, right? For the same things, but they're not the formal
Yeah.
awards, but they can be uh, secondary awards, I
Secondary.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen people make stuff for scouts. I've seen it. There's so many things you can make. It is insane. Again, it comes back to uh, if you don't know what to make, then make something for your honey and get them to publish it, right? Post it,
Yeah.
but find out what they want. Ask them, right? What do women want, right? Get her into the game, right?
Yeah.
So because she'll be able to speak the language to that person, and the truth be told, women are make 90% of the buying decisions on the planet. So
Yeah.
you know,
I will tell you, there was a guy that just made in our Onefinity group, he just made it was like a beautiful, it was a stovetop cover, but it had like raised feet on it. So it looked like a giant cutting board. But he did an inlay of, I think the inlay was maple and the other woods were like, walnut and I don't know. It was just a bunch of like cherry, maybe some mahogany woods in there. But he did this like maple inlay with like some cursive script. And I was like, I need to have one of those in my life. Like I could probably make it, but it would take me forever to figure out how to do all that. Do, the inlay like he did with that really delicate script. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. And I said, I don't know what you're doing, but if you do like, don't do anything else. Like just figure out how to make these and you would make a lot of money. I'm like, those are gorgeous. And he was like, really? I was like, yes, yes. Just figure out how to do those and get really good at those and sell them because those are showstoppers. You'll make a ton of money making those babies.
interesting. The other thing you can do is find out what other people are selling and what they're
Mhm.
selling well. Just copy what works. Right. This is one of the things that
Yep.
I used to be like this. I don't want to make what other people are making. Well, if what other people are making are selling, then by all means make them. Right.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you want to get rolling, in business, our number one thing that mentors always tell us: don't try to reinvent the wheel. There's the whole
So
system's
true.
worked out. That's why you got to get mentored, right? You get mentored in this
Yeah.
in this whole process. There was a quick question here. They live in Iowa. They don't have many woodworking shows or craft markets. What's a good way to get some shows set up here live? That's you would have to start it. You'd have to kickstart that and be a leader in getting that going, right? So that would be a big job. If you want to create projects, if your incentive is to start this to create a project, um,
Hmm.
and make projects to sell, then I mean you're barking up a different tree. Um,
Yeah.
but as a show, someone who's setting up a show, you definitely can earn some money off of that, right? Especially if it's a large show, right? Because you're making commissions off the booths. They charge two
Yeah,
hundred
that's what
dollars for
I
a
was
booth.
thinking.
You're not making commissions off the sales, unless that's set up. But um, let's
Maybe
see.
some way to do that instead of doing craft fairs, maybe try to get your products into like local stores. If you have small local stores that you could put some of your products in. I know a lot of
Mm,
businesses are always looking for that. Like even like our local hardware store, like our Do It Best hardware store, they have a couple woodworkers. They have like their cutting boards in there, and they have all kinds of like local artisans. They just have like a small display area. Like one guy makes hot sauces, and so they like feature that. But that might be somewhere to, you know, get your products out there.
right. Um, yeah, here in Madison, one of the couple of stores, they have products that this the pillows and signs. It just says 47250. That's their zip code, and people buy them.
Yeah,
Someone
I
asked
mean,
if I have a long,
people love stuff
you
like
know,
that.
yeah. Someone asked if I have a long mill. Yes, I have two long mills, and I have a Phantom. Golfers and fishermen. Yep, avid fishermen, avid boaters, avid salespeople, sailors, people of boating kind of thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
hunters. Um,
People who
oh,
have lakes or I'm sorry, not lakes,
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
rivers. Rivers. People I have been hit up a lot by cuz here in Indiana we have a lot of rivers. Um I mean we have a lot of lakes too, but people have like camping grounds down near rivers and everything that you see says the lake house or the lake, going to the lake hats, lake houses, lake t-shirts, but nothing says the river. So that's a big market I've been asked a lot about. Will you make stuff that says the
Okay.
river? And I'm like,
Okay. This is, you brought up another one though, the lakes, right? So people who own lake houses, they're generally the second house. And
yeah,
lake lake signs that they put up pictures in their house,
oh, they're
very
everywhere.
popular, and these are good money items. They're
Mhm.
good money making items. If you can get good at making that, generally you get a map off of Google, bring it into your software, carve it out in a V-carve, pour some blue epoxy into it, and carve out the name on it, and there you've got a $400
I've seen
sign.
a lot of those.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Matt says, how do you draw repeat customers?
Timestamp
913, right
913.
under
How do you
Fred
draw repeat
Grover.
customers? Okay, so the repeat customers is a very good question, Matt. Thank you for asking that.
Very good.
So Kate, let's see if you can answer that one.
Oh,
Well, I've taught you the core stuff that you need to know.
hmm.
No.
Well, repeat customers. I know how I get repeat customers, and that is catering to the customer. You want to make sure that they are happy, that they are 100% satisfied with their product. You want to make sure to follow through with them and really spend the time with them to understand what they want, and then make that project, because it's not about the actual product, it's about how you made them feel.
That's a really
How's
good
that?
answer. Yes. Yeah, that's good. It is. That's how you get a repeat customer, right? Um, Always think about your own shopping experiences in various different ways, and think about why do you go back to a certain place, or why will you be at a place they charge more money, but you almost feel obligated to buy from them because they're so stinking nice. They like, you really feel like they care about you, right? And
Yeah.
that's how you get the repeat customers. You give them the extra attention. And why do you think the router bit packages I send out are like opening Christmas presents, right? There's
It's true.
multiple levels of personal touch, right?
Yeah.
Because I know who's on the other side. I know what they're feeling, and I want them to feel special, right? And
Hmm.
so and they have needs. They get stuck. They send me an email. I answer the best I can when I can, and
Yep.
at least somebody's out here helping them. This is the problem with most business owners, and why this makes such a difference. Because you try to message some other CNCer out there, most of them, or in any business, and you try to get an answer from them, and you get crickets, or very quick response that felt dry, right? And you come off that feeling just kind of that didn't feel very good,
Left a bad
right?
taste.
Yeah. You just didn't feel like you were a person, right? So, but there were some times when you went to them and you just got off the phone and you're like, yeah, that I felt good getting off that call, or
Yeah.
that email made me feel good, whatever it is. So reflect on
Feel
that, and
connected.
yep. And if you reflect on that and say, why did I feel good about that? Why did I feel bad about that? Then once you understand that, you give the same kind of energy to your potential customer. That's what brings them back. But I
Yep.
also say, put QR codes on the back of every one of your projects.
Yeah.
QR
Or
codes,
some
lead
type
them
of
back to your
something.
website. Yeah. Business cards, I will say, are a waste. No, 99% a waste of time, because
Yep.
I know I chuck every business card. Um,
I have something called Popple, and I love it. It's great. It's an app on my phone. It gives me a QR code, and I can even link people. So once they scan it, it like asks for their name and their phone number. Then they send it to me, and then once they send that, it sends me an email with, "Hey, you've connected with blah blah blah," and then I will get and then it sends them all of my socials. So I'm like, "Hey, if you go follow me on Instagram, like we'll automatically be connected." And then I'll get
mhm,
an email notification, and then I can
okay.
connect the two and kind of keep track of them that way.
The thing to remember, this falls into the same question here, is Why would someone want to follow you?
To connect
Most
with you.
business follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, right? Follow me here, follow me there. And it's like, why would they want to follow you? Going on YouTube videos, and the first thing they say is subscribe to my channel. If you want more information, when they haven't even given you anything yet. All right, so we
Yeah.
always need to give value first, and then if you give enough value, they will sign up by themselves. Right. So,
Oh, I hope
Matt,
so. Yeah.
that's the answer to your question. Value, dump the value onto them, dump it onto them, educate them, give them a gift. Um, um,
Lots of
you know,
education.
Connect with them about their life. Find something that you relate to with them. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's. We are coming to the end.
Well, I think Adam has a really good question here at
Timestamp
9:23.
9:23. Okay. Oh no, here.
There we go. Well, Adam, I'd say you'd have to figure out what, again, going back to doing our work, what is who is your avatar? Who are you trying to sell to, and what are you trying to, what is your brand? What are you just, I'm thinking maybe you're just asking a very general question. There's lots of things that you can batch out and do. It just depends on what your area of expertise is.
Yeah, and the market to go after. So in Kate's example, she was making things for this Dave Matthews stuff, and they were asking about key rings. So she could start cookie cuttering, however you say it, that stuff out.
Yeah, cookie cutter.
But this here, I want to give you a key example of what I did in my early stages of starting my CNC business before I actually started IDC Woodcraft
Sure.
was because I'm a Jeep fan. And I had somebody, I didn't have a laser at that time. I had somebody cut out a whole bunch of little Jeeps, and I was going to make them magnets on for the fridge, right? Oh, they were the
Yeah,
cutest little things, right? This little
they
fronts
are.
of Jeeps, and so I tried to sell them on Etsy, and they totally flopped, right? Uh, they sat in a box for a year, and then I thought, oh, I can make them into key rings too. So I bought a bunch of key rings, and we have this festival out here in
Yep.
Madison once a year in the fall. And I know that Jeeps are big around here, and during the festival, they're all over the place. And so I just put out a booth and I put all these Jeep key rings and magnets out, and I sell them for $3 a piece. I paid like 25 cents a piece for them, right? I just had tons of them, made four or five
Yeah.
hundred dollars in about 4 hours,
Nice.
right? So
Yeah.
the point of this is, Adam, this is where the venue matters. Etsy was crap, because I didn't know. It just wasn't the place to be selling. That's not where cheap people hang out at, right? So
Nope.
when you're thinking about who you're selling to, you got to understand where they're hanging out at. And so,
Yeah.
but it worked here because there's a ton of cheap people here.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at 9 hour and 33 minutes. So, anything else you want to?
Um,
Um,
looks like Fred's been pretty active. Um, thanks for the answers at 9:23. Would it be a good idea to set up a shop to allow people to come in and carve their own signs and charge for shop time, or better just to find a niche market? Oh gosh. Um,
Well, if you do that, so now you're thinking insurance needs and stuff like that. If you got other people coming
yeah.
in, right?
Yeah,
That's
you're
a
going to
different
get
ball
into a
game.
whole ball of wax with that.
Yeah, if you're doing something like that, you need to make sure you have an LLC. Talk to an insurance agent, right, to make sure you're covered properly, right? You got
Yeah.
to get your business separated from your private assets.
Yeah.
Um, okay,
I personally
so
would not do that just because there's so much that goes into carving a sign. It's not, that's like that back to the custom stuff. It's just, um, people to come in and carve a sign, they'd have to select from something, and then they're always going to want more, and then it's just going to kind of spiral. And if it
mm,
were me, I would do the niche market.
yeah. Yep. I am working on looking for property now so that I can start bringing people in and educating. But I'm at the level I can do that. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. First of all, any female women creators here, make sure you sign up to Kate's Facebook group, Women Who CNC. Right?
Yeah.
And Kate, you are going to have to set up a thing where you can do one-on-one. So whoever's watching this, she's not going to do a one-on-one for free. She's going to decline you. She'll say sorry, but right, she's going to be set up first. Okay, she has a skill now, right? And so this is part of the mentoring thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
see,
mean, it is, and that's what we're doing is I'm learning, oh wise one, my young Padawan. I'm the young Padawan trying to keep up with the keep up with the days, or not keep up with the days, but keep up with the times and try to grow a business. I mean, that's why we're doing this mentoring. It's, not so, Kate can be broke and not be afford to keep her business afloat. It's
yeah,
building a
the,
successful business.
yep, yep, a business. If you're not making money in a business, if you're not making a profit, you're just working a
Have a
hobby.
hobby.
Yep. So if you've been watching, if you got something out of this, please give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to the channel, because not only is this about for those who are watching on YouTube, this is not just about this mentoring, but it's also, you'll get a lot of videos about how to learn how to CNC and work with the
Yeah.
software. And what else? The IDC Woodcraft CNC router bit app. Just released that, what, a month and a half ago. The only phone app for you. Go to your Google Play or Apple Store and um, search IDC Woodcraft, and you can download it, and it'll have all your feeds and speech data there. So let's see.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanna?
Sorry, I was just laughing at
Oh, can you put a
V-twins.
link for Kate on CNC Facebook?
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah. So watch for this recording. Go ahead and put it in, Kate. Uh,
Yeah, we
Which
can
fear I
definitely put a
sense
link in
from
there.
you, JK.
And if you don't mind, head over to my channel and subscribe as well. It's Rise and Shine Wood Signs. Um, been trying to upload some more videos here and there, um, as well as working with my mentor's great advice in the background, trying to get lots of things going on. So, yeah. And if there's things you guys want to talk about, you know, leave us a comment. Even after this video is ended, go on the, Garrett's IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel and leave us a comment about, if there's things you guys would like us to help you answer in business.
Yeah.
So,
This is all my Facebook feeds too. So it's in 3 Facebook feeds and YouTube.
oh goodness.
Yeah,
Well, we're
maybe
just
you'll have
everywhere,
to.
aren't we?
Well, you'll have to give me your Facebook, and I'll link your Facebook too. Okay, everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for hanging out. We've had a lot of had quite a few more hanging out this time, and
Yeah.
I hope you all gain something out of this to get an idea what you can make with your machines, and how to niche. And if you don't know what to niche into, there's other avenues you can go down.
Go
So,
back and watch the first 4 episodes.
right. Yeah. If you really want your business to really start to get
Yeah.
focused in, because you got to get focused. All right. With that, we're going to say goodbye, good night, and happy CNC.
See you guys.